So this week we're going to look at chapters 13 and 14. We've moved into the function of management known as leadership. And I know I posed at the beginning of class in August, there a difference between leadership and management? We talked about that a little bit, so it's coming back into play now. Hopefully you know at this point that there is a difference between the two. It makes more sense, and it's more beneficial to the company or the organization if a manager is able to lead. So under that umbrella, if you will, we're going to look at motivation. Chapter 13 really speaks to motivation. So what makes people happiest and most productive at work? I know that one of the students in class made the comment that people should just do what they're hired to do. And they can, but will they do it in the most efficient manner? Will it work in your favor as a manager so that you can achieve goals in the time that you want to, most efficiently and most effectively? Because that's what management is. What are those things that are going to motivate people? Is it money? Is it benefits? Opportunities for growth? An interesting job or work? Or is it something else altogether? These are the things that we have to, as managers, determine, because it's going to make a difference as to how soon we achieve goals and how we're going to be able to progress in the company. Now, I just rattled off a few things that people could use or could be motivated by. But as I made that list, or as I spoke that list, we know then it becomes clear to us that people desire different things. So if people desire different things, how can a company keep everyone motivated? This is what management is truly about. This becomes key in management. Listen to this. It takes insight and hard work to motivate workers to join the company, perform well, and then stay with the company. I'm going to say that again. It is essential for management to take insight. They're going to have to put in hard work to motivate workers to join the company, perform well, and then stay within the company. So how realistically is this done? If motivation is so important, what is it actually? That's one of the first things we have to do, is define what is motivation. Formally, it's defined as the set of forces that initiates, directs, and makes people persist in their efforts to accomplish a goal. When most people think of work motivation, they think that working hard or effort should lead to a good job performance. Many managers often assume motivation to be the only determinant of performance. They'll say things such as, your performance was really terrible last quarter. What's the matter? Aren't you as motivated as you used to be? Motivation is but one of three primary determinants of job performance. There must be, true enough, motivation, but you also have to have the ability, and you are also going to be tied into your situational constraints. Now, what leads to effort? This word effort, if we think about effort and performance, what leads to effort? As we can see from your textbook, effort and performance contribute to motivation. What leads to efforts? Well, needs do. Needs are defined as the physical or psychological requirements that must be met to ensure survival and well-being. People are then motivated or driven by their unmet needs. And those unmet needs can be categorized or stacked according to lower order and then higher order. Throughout Chapter 13, the basic model of work motivation and performance is going to be constructed. It started with these two green blocks here. And throughout Chapter 13, you'll see that work motivation and performance is going to continue to grow. You'll see it constructed throughout Chapter 13. Also, theories are going to be used to explain essential concepts such as the various types of needs and their order of importance. We'll also use theories in Chapter 14 to help us understand leadership styles. We could, people ask, why use theories? I look at a lot of theories, but why? Most people, well, I won't say most people, but a lot of people typically think that so much is common sense. Well, theories tend to be more internally consistent than common sense. What that means is that a theory usually doesn't contradict itself. Common sense, on the other hand, often does. Have you ever heard this? Absent makes the heart grow fonder, but out of sight, out of mind. So common sense can confuse you sometimes. So researchers find it easier to make clear, consistent predictions from a consistent theory rather than from inconsistent common sense. There's no way we can have a discussion on motivation without considering rewards. Why do companies need to offer rewards? Well, first you have different types of rewards. You have extrinsic rewards, and these are tangible. These are things that can be seen. They're given to employees contingent on the performance of specific tasks or behaviors, and they're used to motivate people to perform basic behaviors. Intrinsic reward. This is something that's innate or natural, and it's associated with performing a task or activity just for the sake of doing it. To get people to do things they wouldn't otherwise do is the reason companies need to offer extrinsic rewards. Companies use extrinsic rewards to motivate people to perform 4 basic behaviors: join the organization, regularly attend their jobs, perform their jobs well, and to stay with the organization. Think about it. Would you show up every day to do the best possible job that you could do just out of the goodness of your heart? I think very few people would do that. But aside from external rewards, management offers for doing something well. Employees often find the activities or tasks that they perform interesting and enjoyable. Examples of intrinsic rewards include a sense of accomplishment or achievement, a feeling of responsibility, the chance to learn something new or interact with others, or simply the fun that comes from performing an interesting, challenging, and engaging task. We're going to start looking at theories now, different theories. The equity theory asserts that people will be motivated when they perceive that they are being treated fairly. And I think everyone in our class, including myself, would agree with that. The components of the equity theory include inputs, what you contribute, outputs, what you get, reference, people you compare yourselves to, and then that ratio of what you put in to what you get, and the feeling of whether you feel under-rewarded or over-rewarded. So regardless of the actual level of rewards people receive, they must perceive, this is huge, they must perceive that relative to others, they are being treated fairly. There are negative consequences when people feel that they're being treated unfairly. Providing motivation with the equity theory requires starting by looking for and correcting major inequities. Now we're going to turn our attention to Chapter 14 and look at leadership. We talked about this slightly at the beginning of the course, as I mentioned. Is there a difference between management and leadership? Leadership is the process of influencing others to achieve group or organizational goals. A great manager recognizes the need to lead as well as the other functions that are required. Leaders begin with the question, what should we be doing? While managers start with, how can we do what we're already doing better? Another difference is that managers have a relatively short-term perspective, while leaders take a long-term view. Managers also solve problems so that others can do their work, while leaders inspire and motivate others to find their own solutions. Finally, managers are also more concerned with means, how to get things done, while leaders are more concerned with end, what gets done. Here we see again what leadership is, formally defined, the process of influencing others to achieve a group or organizational goals, and some of the things that leaders are concerned with. Trait theory is also known as the great person theory because earlier versions of the theory stated that leaders are born, not made. In other words, you either have the right stuff to be a leader or you don't. And if you don't, there's no way to get it. So what do you think about this? For some time it was thought that this was wrong and that there are no consistent trait differences between leaders and non-leaders or between effective and ineffective leaders. However, more recent evidence shows that successful leaders are not like other people, that successful leaders are indeed different from the rest. More specifically, leaders are different from non-leaders in the following traits: drive, the desire to lead, honesty and integrity, self-confidence, emotional stability, cognitive ability, and knowledge of the business. Successful leaders also have a stronger desire to lead. Honesty and integrity is so important to leaders. Additionally, they're self-confident and emotionally stable. Emotionally stable means even when things go wrong, they remain even-tempered and consistent in their outlook and in the way they treat others. Leaders who can't control their emotions, who are quick to get angry or attack and blame others for their mistakes, are unlikely to be trusted. Traits alone are not enough to make a leader successful. They are, however, a precondition for success. After all, it's hard to imagine a truly successful leader who lacks most of those qualities. Leaders who have these traits, or many of them, must then take actions that encourage people to achieve group or organizational goals. They must do things, initiate structure, and provide consideration. In Chapter 5, we define a purpose statement, which is often referred to as an organizational mission or vision, as a statement of a company's purpose or reason for existing. Similarly, visionary leadership creates a positive image of the future that motivates organizational members and provides direction for future planning and goal setting. Two kinds of visionary leadership are charismatic and transformational leadership. This concludes chapters 13 and 14. I strongly encourage you to read through both chapters, paying specific attention to many other theories. I'll see you in class.